amigas
and amigos. I have an amazing and very, very special guest with us today. But first, it is spooky season, and we are so excited to talk about Halloween and spookies. So this episode is going to be about not that, but more like spooky experiences and like funny stories that we encountered. If you guys don't know, I'm from Victorville. Brock is from Victorville, which you can do a little about you. I'm like talking for you. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
But I feel like when I talk, like I live in Costa Mesa now, and I feel like when I talk to like my Orange County friends or even like LA friends, like people, anyone who did not grow up in the desert or the IE, I like tell them stories like how my first the first time I saw a man get shot was like outside of that Walmart that was like down the street from my house. And I was
that
like,
was one of many that got shot there.
Yes.
I feel like it was at least once a year.
Yeah.
Like someone would get shot there.
That was, Zach laughs at me because I always say this, but that was the 7th most dangerous Walmart in America.
Yeah, it's true. I tried to tell people that too, and they think I'm being dramatic.
No,
I'm like, do you know how many people were murdered in that parking lot?
Literally. So we thought it'd be like kind of funny and like spooky to like talk about like our shenanigans and our experiences that we had
and there's
at a young age. And there's plenty of them, especially he is the source for all my sketchy stories.
So from if anyone who's listened to her previous Halloween spooky episode, I am the villain from all of her stories.
Yes.
The one who dragged her into all the trouble.
Yeah.
But to be fair, she pulled me into a lot of trouble too.
I did.
It was fun. For the most part, it was the mean culprit. Yeah.
Fun fact, he was my ex-boyfriend.
Hello?
And I was like actually thinking like I was thinking about when we dated, and I was like I like don't remember how it started, which is just kind of sad and funny, but it's because I was dating, which is such a long freaking story, but I had dated. Sorry, you're gonna have to blur out that name. Okay, I had dated an ex-boyfriend who ended up. He is my step uncle now because he is my stepdad's brother. And what's crazy is when I was dating him was when my mom and his brother's affair, this is like a whole lot of drama, but when their affair came out, and so I like joke around with Zach. I'm like, I don't even remember breaking up with him. It was just like all of a sudden we weren't allowed to talk anymore. Yeah. And then we started dating. Yeah. And so Zach's like, you're still dating, what's his face? And I'm like, probably. Family reunions are really weird now. Yeah. But so I was like thinking about when we dated, but we were young. We were 15.
Yeah. So that was 15 years ago now. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy to think about that. I feel like that doesn't fully register that amount of time has actually passed and that I'm old enough to say that I have like a friend that I've known for 15 years. Well, no, even longer. Because remember, I think the first time I ever we didn't like meet. But I remember because my mom was doing the after school care. What it was like a little daycare
at my elementary school.
Yeah, and I would go with her to work because my dad was also working. And I remember I just saw her off in the distance, like acting all crazy. And I looked at my mom. I said, "Mom, who's that crazy girl over there?" Because I was such a little meek, calm, quiet little boy.
Yeah. I scared you for sure.
Yeah.
I gave you crazy eyes.
Honestly, I feel like you were part of what made me kind of more like be more social and comfortable. And
really?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because I was so antisocial in the past.
I feel like when we became friends and then started dating and then became best friends after we broke up. And also it's like not weird.
I feel like it wasn't even really like an actual breakup. Like, I mean, it was, but it more like just the trajectory of our lives in that time, it almost felt like we just kind of had transitioned into friends. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially because you were so close with my sister. Yeah. And my family loved you. You'd be over all the time. So, and now I'm gay anyway, so. So.
I was waiting for that. Like, it's not weird. It's not weird.
Not at all.
He is gay. It's fine.
And I was then too. I was just in denial.
But anyways, okay, to segue, do you want to give a little bit of like about you? Like, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm Brock. I'm 30 years old. I have 2 different jobs. I like to say one of them feeds my bank account and then the other one feeds my soul. I really like my full-time job. Like it's enjoyable, but there's not much like value to it.
Yeah.
And it's really random and niche. Actually, I just got a promotion in that one too. So now I'm
What
the
is
lead of
it?
my department. Yeah. So I won't say the actual name of the company, but and there's very select few of these out there, but I doubt yeah, it's fine. It's a sewer equipment and repair shop. Super random. I literally was just working full time at the home, which is what I still do on the weekends. But just it really wasn't a job that could sustain me like living on my own without having to live with like 4 different people.
Yeah.
And I was just getting to the point where like, you know what, I just need to kind of grow. So I literally just randomly went on Indeed and applied, like cast out a wide net. I applied for probably like 50 different jobs, all just in customer service because I didn't really have too much experience outside of restaurants and outside of providing care for people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of starting off at the bottom. And then, it's just literally this little shop that sells and repairs sewer equipment.
Amazing.
And we manufacture, our own different things too, which is pretty cool. But I'm the lead technician, so I'm in charge of of one of the departments that does like the cameras, monitors, different types of just a bunch of different random types of equipment that most people don't know about. But it's cool.
A whole other world.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's fun in the way of I get a lot of satisfaction out of someone bringing me something that's broken and then fixing it. Yeah. I don't know what that is psychologically, but it just brings me a lot of satisfaction. And I've grown there really quickly. I've been there for 2 years, and I'm, part of the like management team now.
Cool.
And I'm actually just last week got asked to be part of the design team for a new patent that we're working on for a few different things. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
But where my heart truly lies is with the job that I do 2 weekends out of the month. It's at a group home for developmentally disabled adults.
Yeah. I thought
there's
that
many
was your
different
full-time.
terms for that demographic. But that's kind of the one that we stick with. And it's interesting because that's actually been in my family for like 30 years now. And so it's really fun because I grew up going there on holidays and like Christmas, Thanksgiving and everything because my family would be working and we wanted to be able to see them. Yeah. So then naturally all the clients, it's 15 of them. Yeah. Naturally they kind of started to feel like my family because I would see them so often. Yeah. So I love that. That's where my heart is. They feel like I don't know, like my kids in a way, but also like my big siblings and they're just amazing.
That's so cool. I thought that was your full-time job.
No, that was for a few years, but it's just, like I said, it doesn't feed the bank. Yeah, it only feeds my soul, which is the most important part of it, which is why I keep that. I mean, it gets pretty hard, balancing, having a full-time job throughout the week and then going straight into because those shifts are you get there Friday afternoon and you're not off duty, you can't leave the premises until Sunday night, and you're just there, so trying to balance that with my relationship and my family and friends. It can be, it gets to be a lot, but that's why I take vacations like every 3 months and I just leave. So
love that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
Okay. Oh, and also I want to say my boyfriend's name is Art, which is ironically Valerie's dad's name. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
It is a funny connection. And you were so scared of my dad.
Oh, I know, terrified.
My dad is scary.
I never met him. Yeah. I think like what was it? Where you guys were at like some theme park or something, and I was trying so hard to like get in with him, and I was on the phone with you, and I was like, "Oh, tell your dad I said hi," and but
I remember what you said. Yeah, my dad is scary. He's gotten a lot softer throughout the years. I think the divorce really humbled him.
For a good reason though. I mean, as a father, I'm gonna be, terrified. So I feel, the world's not always the best place for anybody, but
and I guess we were young. We were like 15.
Yeah, so we were little babies. Like looking back at that, we were babies, so I know I would be very protective too.
Yeah.
But
well, thank you for sharing that. It's like always fun getting to like know the guests before we like dive into our conversation. But yeah, I know we don't talk like all the time, but like you're still one of like the most special people in my life, and it's like you've known me for so long, and it's like funny that like I don't know. I'm sure it trips me out to like see you like living like not in a bad way, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we're literally adults. Like
I know
we have our own lives and we've known each other, I guess, since we were like even younger than 15.
I think that would have to have been the year we moved to the high desert, which was in 2003, which would have put me at like 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it was that first year. So I think, so all in all, 20 years was the first time we actually had like seen each other, been around each other, but we didn't really become friends until I went to that school when I started high school. So, yeah.
Good times. It was so good times, also scary because you were the source of a lot of my sketchy experiences, which I'm like so excited to dive into. So something I wanted to ask you though, because I know my most traumatic experience, which was when you kidnapped me and I didn't know it was a joke. Which when I tell people that
was
like, wait, what?
That was not me, you guys.
And I'm so mad that I froze, which we'll get into. I'm so mad that I froze and I saw your body running towards me with a mask and I was like, this is a joke, right? And I get thrown over your shoulders, thrown in a car, and I'm like, is this happening right now? Because like at that point I was sneaking out a lot at night, which like
Same.
I was always hosting sleepovers. So like a lot of the girls would like come and spend the night at my house and we were always like, let's like sneak out and like hang out with boys.
Yeah.
I'd go like hook up with guys like in a random on a random couch in the middle of the desert, and so it was bad.
Literally. Well, that's just
so bad.
What high desert people do.
That's what we do. So, but this night I was like, this is like when that happened. I was like, this. I'm done. Like I'm, and I just froze, which I think, in my defense, is a trauma response.
I know. And looking back, like, okay, don't get me wrong, like. In my 30s.
Are you justifying you
No. No, in fact. No, okay, so that was, I think we had all just barely gotten our licenses, so we were being all reckless, thinking we had all the freedom in the world.
Yeah.
But, like, I was recently telling, so whenever you asked me to come to the podcast, and I was like, and you were saying we need to talk about this story. I was telling my coworker about it, and the whole time he's just looking at me, like, with this,
this is not
look
funny.
of, like, confusion, like, why are you smiling so much about this story? Like, this is kind of messed up.
Is she okay?
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm just sitting here laughing and cracking up. And then I realize, okay.
Just be like, it's a Victorville thing.
It's a Victorville thing, yeah.
Okay, well, that is definitely one of my experiences. But I want to hear about, like, what was, like, your most just, like, wild experience living out there? Again, it feels like a different world. Like, the things we've seen is, like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. I want to hear about, like, what story comes to mind for you with that?
So much. It's hard to choose. But one, so I think this was like, at 16, I had just gotten my license, and then I got the Bean, my little green bean car that Brant ruined. Oh, well, that's fine. We can.
That's your brother.
That's my brother. He's fine. He won't.
Don't sue me.
Yeah. Please don't arrest me. No, so my little Bean car was very popular in my school. The car, not me.
I was like,
I was the awkward floater who had friends in every group, but didn't. Anyway, back to the point of this story. So at that age, I was a very, very, very painfully naive individual for many reasons. But I was driving down the road in the middle of a storm down Nisqually, and Nisqually would always flood like crazy. And I see this guy standing outside of his van, like he looks like he's looking under the hood, and he's like soaked, and he's like waving. And I was like, like looking back, it sounds so stupid, but I'm like, this poor guy, he needs some help. I was like, I have a car, let me see what he needs, right? Meanwhile, like I said, I'm 16. This guy probably looked like he was like in his 30s. And I just pull over, hey man, what's going on? He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I just ran out of gas right here. I'm trying to get out to my friends in Barstow. Can you take me to Barstow? And I was like, well, I can take you down the street. I was like, I have a gas can in the back of my car.
Barstow is 30 miles from where we're at.
And so it was like just pitch black all the way down the highway.
Oh my gosh.
And but I was like, well, I can't really take you that far. I was like, but I have a gas can in the back of my car, so I don't mind taking you to the gas station up the road. So, you can get some gas and I can take you back to your car or whatever. He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, man, that's fine. And mind you, this gas station was probably like less than a 5-minute drive from where we were already at. And within that 5 minutes, the guy literally straight up confessed to having murdered somebody. And so I'm 16 years old in the car with this random 30-year-old stranger. He's confessing murder to me.
16.
And I'm 16. Granted, I don't know if the guy was just trying to scare me or if he was like being for real. But at the end of the day, when someone says that to you, you take it seriously.
Yeah.
So I'm like scared, like about to pee my pants. I'm like, what did I do? And I'm like, I want my mom. No, so we drive down there and we get to the gas station and he's like refusing to get out of my car. And he's like, I'm just going to wait for my friend to come meet me here and pick me up. And I'm like, well, I had to get home. I have a curfew, blah, blah, blah. You know, I can't really sit here with you waiting for your friend. So can you just, you know, like, do you mind waiting inside the gas station for your friend? He's like, oh, come on, man. It's raining. It's cold. And I was like, well, you know, I really got to get home. So I faked that I got a call and my phone was on silent.
Yeah. Your flip phone.
Yeah, my little whatever that thing was. It was some like $25 thing from, I don't know. And then the guy, I finally like end up getting the guy to get out of the car because he, you know, pretending to be on the phone with my parents. So he kind of, you know, I don't know what his line of thinking was, but he ended up getting out of the car. And he was like, oh, just wait here for me. I'm going to go get the gas. And I just like took off. And then,
gosh.
So, and then, you know, you would think one would learn their lesson.
No, not
but
you.
No, I mean, you know, it's a little bit later.
Wait, but can I ask you real quick, like, what was your intention in those moments? Like, was it because you were like, I genuinely feel bad for this person, I want to help them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, because just that was like not trying to seem like I was like this virtuous person.
Yeah.
But that was like when I was that age. I mean, I still have that heart to help people.
Yeah.
But now with a lot more wisdom to it. At that age, I was just so naive, and I would always like, you know, multiple times in my life, I found myself in situations from trusting people I should have known not to trust. But
yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely up there when it comes to the sketchiness. But you know, there's some more, some less. You know, may or may not have been held captive at gunpoint at one point, but you know, that's a story for another day.
That literally happened.
Yes, it did. But held hostage for, I think it was about 7 hours, if I can remember correctly. Most intense, scariest experience of my life, but
I cannot. And I mean, that was like kind of recent. You weren't 16 when it happened, which either way doesn't make it okay. But yeah, that is so freaking sketchy.
Yeah.
But,
that's the high desert for you.
I know. And the thing is it's like normal to us. Like now as an adult, I definitely, maybe it was like, I guess maybe not normal, but like more common.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, I don't really think it's something that's inherent to the area itself per se, but I just think it's more, well, I mean, I guess no, the area, because there's just absolutely nothing to do up there. Yeah. And like, I just feel like people get so bored up there because there's nothing to do. And then when people are bored, they just, I don't know, get up to no good. I don't know what that is, but there's something about the high desert to where, like, I feel like when we lived up there as kids at first, like we went up there because, oh, it's this safe place. It's this, you know. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There is really good positive sides to the high desert as well. You just need to be prepared for a lot of craziness too.
Have I told you that I think part of the reason why so many weird things happen is because it's like cursed land? Like, not to get all woo-woo and spiritual, but I'm like, I think of like all the Native Americans that live there. Like, that's actually so crazy. Like, that land was like,
I mean, all the streets in Apple Valley are primarily named after like different Native American tribes.
So crazy. So I'm like, I think that's why it's cursed.
Possibly.
Some bad things happen, and look at it now. Like, people are not okay.
And
but
here we are now. But we both escaped, so.
We escaped.
And blessings to everybody who still lives up there.
I know. I'm like, it's like fine if you still live up there, but I'm like scared.
I know.
Which I think everyone who lives there would agree. Like, one of my best friends like still lives there, and
I mean,
like, sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, my brother's a police officer up there, so he knows better than anybody else the craziness that is the high desert. And some of the stories he tells me, I'm like,
it's
oh, Lord
so
Jesus.
crazy.
I'm like, no amount of money could pay me to deal with those situations
crazy.
like you do. But
I think we should talk about what happened in Deep Creek when you and I went. Which we should like talk about like what Deep Creek is.
Agreed.
Is it an urban? It's not like an urban legend. It's like real, right?
No, it was a real legitimate thing. Well, okay. Well, first, I'll just explain what Deep Creek kind of is. So it's a creek that leads to these hot springs, which little side tangent, ironically, is like a little nudist colony. And my dad didn't know that, and he took us. It's what is it? It's like what? I could be wrong, but I want to say it's 6 miles in to get to the hot springs if you take the long way. There's a little
I went once with like random friends, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. It was like so hot. And
it's
crazy.
a miserable hike. There's nothing good to look at, but you go there with the destination. You're like, oh, I would just want to go to the hot springs. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you get there, and I don't know how, I was like 14, 15. And then we get off in a distance, and my dad gets all stressed out. And I was like, what? And he pulls, I don't know why he had binoculars, but he pulls out binoculars, and he goes, oh my gosh, there's naked people everywhere. And I was like, what? He's like, no, we have to turn around. I was like, we wasted. I was like so upset. But anyways, back to the main part of that. Deep Creek is this little river that goes along the PCT, which is the Pacific Coast Trail. It goes, it starts in Canada and goes all the way down to Mexico. It goes all along. No, yeah, it goes. I'm pretty sure it at minimum it goes all the way up through Northern California, but I want to say it goes all the way up to Canada. I could be wrong. Somebody can fact check me on that, but
please fact check us.
But yeah, so that's essentially what it is.
Real quick, did I tell you about I had no idea about how sketchy Deep Creek was because when I went for the first time, I was 17 and I went with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, whatever, funny, it's a nudist colony, haha, whatever. But then when I started dating Zach, because my husband is from the high desert too, but we didn't meet until I moved down here and he moved out of state. But he was telling me that when he did camp counseling, 2 of the camp counselors that he had met were both these I think they were black or half black, Rastafari type of guys. And they were telling Zach about this Deep Creek place and how it's full of skinheads and stuff. And Zach was like, wait, what? This sounds made up. And they were saying how they got hunted all through the night out there.
Okay, after we're done recording, I need to tell me those people's names because I think I know those same exact people.
Okay, we'll talk about it after because I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if you knew them.
Oh no, it's a different. I think it's a different. Couple.
Okay.
But anyway.
These guys got they were out in Deep Creek to smoke a blunt and disconnect and be in nature, and then they ended up finding these super racist skinheads that live out there. It's a colony of them.
Yeah.
And it was at night, and they had spent the whole night running from these guys, which this sounds so made up. And even when Zach was telling me, I was gaslighting him. I was like, I don't think that really happened. Are you serious? I know sketchy things happen, but that's a little dramatic.
Well, because it sounds like something from a movie.
Yeah,
The Hills Have Eyes type situation.
Yes. So then when we're engaged, we go with this guy to Deep Creek.
It's me.
Brock's I'm down, and you were dating one of our friends at the time, and so the 4 of us go, and I was driving a super beaten up Nissan Sentra.
And you almost killed us on the way there.
I almost killed us on the way there. I'm a cute driver. I'm just a little reckless sometimes. Right. But anyways, I was driving 100 on this dirt road in my Nissan, so it's all rickety and stuff. And then if you want to share the rest of the story, but that night was when I was maybe there are skinheads that live out here. It was so I just remember we parked right when we got there, and we were admiring the stars. We're wow, it's
because it's so beautiful out there at night. Beautiful. During the day, it's just hot and miserable.
Yeah, but you're disconnected. There's no phone service. We're out with friends, and we're oh my gosh, look how beautiful. It's 2 a.m, and we're oh my gosh, getting all spiritual and shit, and then so then
yes, so really what these the skinhead people would do is they would literally hunt people they were hunting animals.
Yeah.
And so when we get there, and they would literally have big AK-47s.
Did you know that about Deep Creek when we went that night? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did actually. And I think the whole I don't know why. I mean that just goes back to being young and dumb, knowing that stuff was happening there. Let's go.
Because I was 18 or 19 or something. But.
Yeah, and I think that was when I was living in Colorado at the time, but I was back for the holidays, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would literally have AK-47s, and then those little goggles where you can see the heat vision or whatever. Yeah, the infrared. That's the word I was looking for. And so we're out there. We're just enjoying the stars, listening to music. I think we were listening to some type of worship music or whatever. Yeah. We were having a little
spiritual. We're praise Jesus.
And then all of a sudden, somebody I was dating my girlfriend at the time. She was always kind of a little bit more skittish at the time. But also kind of adventurous too. She would go out on adventures, but the whole time she'd be all jittery and
what was that? Yeah.
And so she was doing that. She'd go, "Oh, did you guys see that light up in the hills?" And I was "Oh my gosh!"
And then we gaslit her. We're you didn't see anything.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't see anything. And I honestly didn't believe that she did because I was "Oh, this is just another situation where she's just being kind of nervous and anxious and just kind of on too alert or whatever."
Yeah.
And so we're all just kind of brushed it off. We just keep talking and laughing, and then she keeps saying, oh, did you guys see that? Did you guys hear that? And I got to the point, I was like, okay, well, let's just, relax so we can enjoy the time, chill. And then who was the next? Was it Zach who saw it
Which
next?
is so funny because Zach is like always on dad mode. Like I'm shocked that he went that night because he is so responsible and so like, I don't want to like do anything sketchy where I'm like, YOLO, let's go. But so I'm shocked that he went that night, but I think he had said something. He's like, wait, no, I actually see something.
Yeah.
And then we look off
you started taking it seriously. And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. And then I started, honestly, I don't think we were really thinking that it was true. Like, really like that. Yeah. It's like we knew those stories, but they sound so outlandish.
When you're in the moment, you're like, there's no way this is happening to me.
Yeah. Like it feels like your mind's playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So then we just see like the infrared lights, like, going off in the mountains, and then we start hearing these. Are they dune buggies? Like the
like the dune buggies that can, because it's all like there's like a lot of soft sand out there and everything.
Yeah. So that's like what they drive out there, and then we just hear a bunch of them like coming down from the hill, and then that was when Zach like for sure got on dad mode. He's like, let's get out right now, and I was like kind of fighting it. I was like, wait, really? Like there's no way this is happening. And Zach's like, I'm not taking any chances. Let's go. So we like get into my little Nissan Sentra, and it's like barely going, and then we saw a bunch of lights coming down following us. It was so crazy. And then after that, did I tell you that we went right before our wedding, me and Zach?
Oh my God, no.
Did I tell you?
Not.
I think you were in Cambodia when this happened. Or no?
Yeah, because I was.
You were gone.
That's why I wasn't at your wedding, because I was like, it was out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went back and we went with his best friend, who's also from the high desert, who's his best man in our wedding, and then we went with Zach's biological cousin that he had like just met prior to that, who was like, it's a long story, but. She came with us to Victorville, and so we're like, let's go do this. And she was someone that was like, I want to do some adventurous, like scary things. Like she liked like the thrill of things. Yeah. So we're like, okay. And I was like, Zach, we should take them. And it's so funny because this is not like him now. I don't know if it's because he has kids, or like we have kids. Like he has kids. I don't know if it's because like we have kids now, so he like I can't picture him doing that now. Like I honestly don't remember what it was like before kids. But I'm shocked that he was like, okay, let's like go again.
So on board with it, especially after that, how it went.
Especially after that, which like that was like scary, but this time, and this is the story where I feel like no one is going to believe me, but I know you will. Yeah. So we like go again. It's like the middle of the night. Obviously, we go with his friend that was with us. It is like someone who's like very like scared and skittish and like, what was that? What was that? And so we like get there, but we made it way farther than we did the time that we went with you. And so we like parked in the middle of the highway, or like the dirt road, whatever it was. And I'm hanging out with his friend, and we're just like, okay, like this is kind of chill, whatever. And like I felt in my gut just uneasy. Yeah. And like I feel like my gut is like pretty good with that kind of stuff. Like if I feel like something's gonna happen, it like normally is like a sketchy situation or something. So I was just kind of feeling uneasy, and I was like, why did I agree to this? Like this is not fun. And then Zach and his cousin are just like walking in front of us, and they're farther from the car. And then me and his friend are next to like this like bush, this like bush of thistle and stuff, and it was like slightly windy, so I like see from my peripherals that like it's moving. And then I look, and I freaking see a man. I see a man who's like maybe from like where I am to like where that piano is, or like where the camera is at, and I see a guy right there, and I look at his friend, and I'm like trying to like make eye contact with him, like without saying like, hey, there's a man right there. And I hear him have like, he has a walkie-talkie, and it goes and then he goes like, yeah, I see some people here. And I was like, oh my God. So then I was like trying not to scream. Literally gave me
the what did you say? You call it the chicken skin?
And I look at Zach, and I was like, there's a guy here. And I'm like trying not to scream. And so I'm just like signaling, like, get over here. Like, let's go to the car. And then like Zach sees me, and he like starts like power walking. And then we like, I don't even know how we got in the car that fast, but literally as we're driving off, I see the guy pop out from the bushes, and we just like booked it. And I had a better car at the time, so it was like pedal to the metal, like we were out of there super fast. But then when we were coming down the dirt road again that we like stopped on the first time, I saw all the lights coming down again. And then it's just scary. You hear all the doom buggies. You see all like the night vision lights like going crazy. And so Zach was like, that is our last time. We're not doing this. We're not bringing people out here. Like that's our last time. And then I like believed like his camp counselor friends. I was like, oh, like they did get hunted that whole night. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have told me that story before, but for whatever reason, it was still shocking to hear because that's like after that, it's like because I feel like whenever we were there, like some people have always been like, oh, you guys were just being dramatic.
Yeah,
oh,
like
you were just this, that. It's just in your head. You're out there in the dark. You're just getting yourselves all scared for no reason. But that like confirms that it's real.
Out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So scary. Yeah, that was probably like the scariest thing that I had encountered. I've encountered like weird, like I don't know. I've encountered a lot of weird, scary things out there, but most of the time it was like my own, like I don't know, like kind of my own fault for getting put in that situation. Which the next story I want to tell is the random guy's house that we went to.
Oh my god. Okay, listen for everyone listening. Don't come for me after hearing this story because I don't know, no excuse.
Wait,
just
what
don't come
story?
for me. The story that you're about to tell.
Wait, why would anyone come for you?
Well, because I don't know, because I feel like I got us into that situation, no?
But we were both like down.
Yeah, that's true.
It was both of our faults. We were not like we were not a good balance.
I know. We always get each other into the craziest situations. Constantly.
So we go, it's a church now, ironically, but there was this club out there that was like, literally every week someone was like getting killed outside of it.
Yeah.
But every once in a while they had these like, which is so dorky to say, like 18 and under.
So nerdy.
Because we were like 16, 17. So we're like, oh, let's go. And then my friend at the time, which is just so weird, she was 15 and she was dating the bodyguard who was 25, which like...
That's how old he was?
Yes.
I thought he was like 18 or 19, which is still creepy.
I think he was 25.
But that... Oh my
it's so creepy. It's so messed up. So
I'm so happy that individual is alive.
Oh my gosh. I know. So sketch. But we would like go all the time because like we didn't have fake IDs, which I'm kind of surprised I didn't have a fake ID. But we're like, oh, let's just like go. Let's go dance it out for a night, like on a Thursday night, a little casual.
Sneaking out when we had school the next morning just to... Oh, no, it was during the summer, actually, huh?
Oh, you're right. Because it's during my community service after I got arrested. So...
Casual,
picture things. So then we like went, it was a Thursday night. And then, cause I wanted to save like the weekends for like the 18 and over crowd, which totally makes sense. So we go and there's like a paper, this is before social media. So there's like a paper that's like, not today or something. And we're like, oh, we can't like club it up tonight. And so,
that's literally all it said was just not today.
Not today. And
it's
so
not closed. Not anything, just not today. It was almost like, I don't have the time to deal with you children. Not today. We've been through it today. Leave me alone. Just not today.
So then we're there and we're like, what do we do? And then there's two other guys that like show up and they like look at us and like, were you guys here for like, can't say with a straight face at 18 and under. But we're like,
because we felt so cool in that moment. Cool. We're like, yeah, look at us. We're little badasses sneaking out to go to the club. 18 and over night. Hell yeah. Mom and dad don't know where I'm at. I'm so cool.
Oh my God. So then they're like, well, we want to party. Like, are you guys down to party? And then we were like, sure, why not? And they're like, okay, we live in Adelanto, which is like a city next to Victorville.
Which is like the roughest,
worse.
The roughest area in the whole high desert.
Rough. So we get to their house, and I can't remember if we had our other friend who was dating the security guard at the time. I can't remember if she was there that night. But we like go. I don't even know if you remember this, but we go, and there is no power because I remember it was in the summer, and it was freaking hot in there. Like Victorville gets like up to like 100.
And then even at night, it'll be like 95 degrees.
It's just freaking hot. So I'm like sweating and I'm like, what is happening? They don't have any water. And I'm like, why is everything shut off? And they're like, oh, like something about like like grandma or mom just died. So they're like, oh, we don't like, which I'm like, I don't know.
Which is real. So sad because they were
to a house.
they were like a little bit older than us, right? A couple years.
Like a year.
Yeah, and then we're just hanging out in their house like, oh yeah, we have no food, no nothing because our mom just died or whoever it was that they were living with. I think it was their mom. So sad to think about that now.
It's so sad, but I'm also like, but like, was that their mom? Like, was that their house?
Who knows? Yeah. Honestly, they could have been squatting there. They could have been. It could have just been a random abandoned house that they knew about that they're like, oh, we can just get in here.
It's so because I just like remember it was so hot. None, like nothing was on. There was no power, and I was just like, what did I do? And then they started like doing drugs in front of us, and like I was crazy, but I was never like down for drugs. I was always like so terrified.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what is happening? And then like to be honest, I don't remember a lot of things that have happened during that time.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that night, I don't know if you remember anything.
Well, but. I mean, I don't know. We were both honestly so intoxicated that night. So Valerie wasn't about drugs, but I was. Well, not drugs, but I mean weed, which I don't know. It's debatable if that's like a drug.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, because we had. It's very choppy, but I remember we got there and I had a car and they, for whatever reason, how did they even get there? Because I remember I drove all of us over to the house.
I literally don't know. I swear these guys were squatters.
I
swear we broke into a house.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're like, oh, hey, my connect, he lives, down the street. And, if you want to drive us over there, we can go get some weed or whatever. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. Oh, I'm a little badass, this, that. I thought that. Fucking little lame-o. But, and anyway, so we're driving. Oh no, but the thing is I didn't want to drive because I was very drunk, and so.
And then I couldn't drive because I didn't start driving until I was 18.
Yeah.
You were always my driver.
Yeah, I literally drove you to school, like, what was like ever since like between like with the last 2 years of school, I would pick you up because you live like
make you breakfast, though.
Yeah, you would. You make me little egg muffins, and I would pick you up.
I'd make you chorizo too.
And then you got a boyfriend, and I was so mad because you started giving him breakfast, and I was hungry.
Well, and you guys.
And he was my mortal enemy.
You hated.
Well, I didn't even have an issue with him until he had an issue with me because we had dated, and I.
Was that the issue though?
And I don't know. Actually, I honestly never really knew. I just kind of always chalked it up to that. But
this is a side story. We'll debrief this.
Yeah, we'll
with
debrief
you
that
later.
Yeah. Yes. But where was I? Okay, yes. So they call I think it was like their uncle, but this old man shows up.
An old man showed up?
At the time he seemed old. He was maybe our age or
I do
something
not remember
now,
this. What was I doing?
You were with us. You came with us.
I do not remember this. Trauma response.
Yeah, honestly. Maybe, a mix of alcohol and trauma response, probably.
That's true. It was very tough.
Because we were both really going through, especially you at that time. So it makes sense. But yeah, they claimed it was down the street. We were in the car for what felt like 25 minutes, half an hour. I had no idea where we were. And then we go to this random place, and they're inside for like a few minutes, and then they come out, and we just drive back. And it was like the crappiest weed, and he was sitting there trying to like roll it up, and he couldn't. He kept breaking and everything.
Oh my god.
And then I don't know what it was in that moment, something made me come to, and I was like, why are we here? We're in some random like house. Like, yeah, it was, I don't know what it was. And then I called
your cousin.
Yeah, I called my cousin, and I was like, hey, can you come pick me and Valerie up? But he was mad at us because him and our other little party friends wanted to go do something.
Yeah.
But for reasons that won't be said, we were kind of all beefing. And he kind of was like refusing at first. And then he ended up coming and picking us up. But yeah.
Crazy. I know when I told
taking us home.
Your sister the next morning what happened, she was so pissed. She was like, why would you? She was always like my sober mind. Like she had a crazy face too, but she was always like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, that's a good question. I don't know why. And it always is with your brother.
And I'm surprised she never like blamed me. I don't know. Maybe she did.
I don't know.
She partied too, though.
We all partied.
But she was the responsible one for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Crazy. Yeah. There's just like a lot of those stories. Like I would go and meet random people in the middle of the desert. I like saw a girl getting kidnapped at the mall. I don't know if I ever even told you that. Yeah. Which maybe it was fake because apparently people like to do that for fun.
Who does that?
I was like, I like straight up saw a girl. I was like, what is happening right now? But okay, tell me from your perspective, because I think I have shared. Did I share the story about when I got kidnapped? Did I share that last year?
I think you do. You did, yeah.
I think I did.
I don't remember like in detail like what I mean, but yeah, I mean different perspectives. So
can you share your evil perspective?
Yeah. Hey, look, it's a core memory for the both of us now, so you're welcome. No, but yeah, so I was out at a different friend's, like I was like not like an actual party, like a little kickback or whatever, and then you're having your little slumber party, and it was like I don't know, 11 at night or midnight, or was it even later than that?
It was late. It was in the middle of the night.
Okay, and you had texted me saying that you wanted to go toilet papering people's houses.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this idea came from, but instantly in my mind,
whose idea was it?
Oh, it was. I'll tell you later.
Friend.
Yeah, the other
friend that was part of that scheme.
But I was like, oh, it was my idea to prank you guys. But then, the other friend ended up was like, oh, let's do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, looking back, honestly, we could have gotten in so much trouble. And it really is. Trouble. It is so messed up thinking about it. But we can laugh about it now.
The victim's here. She says it's fine. It's fine. I'm scared, but it's fine. But you were like dumb teenager. I was such a dumb teenager. I feel like I was dumber than your average teenager. But yeah, so I was just, okay, cool. So my friend's mom let us take her red minivan. Which threw me off because I didn't know that friend whose van you drove, because I knew your car, and I knew the other guy's car that was a part of that, but I did the girls that were involved, I didn't know them as well, and I didn't know their car. So yeah, you threw me off with that one.
That might have been the intention, probably.
Rude.
But anyway, so yeah, we all she has like big buckets of like Halloween costumes. So we all get dressed up, trying to look as scary as we can. And we have a picture somewhere. I'll have to find it and send it to you. I have a picture of all of us in our masks. Yeah, I think we're sitting in the van. I think it's on my Facebook.
Is it really?
I think I had it as my profile picture after we did that.
That's so rude. You were psychotic.
Well, yeah, I can't argue that point. Yes, I was. But so we get there, and then so the street that you had lived on, it was like pushed back like I don't know, 100 yards or so, or even further than that, past off the main road.
Yeah, and it was like literally in the middle of the desert, just like this like random neighborhood of like newly developed homes. Mm-hmm. But then like once you left my street, it was just open desert.
Yeah, exactly. So, like in all directions.
And then while this was happening, while you were doing this, you were texting me, and you lived less than 5 minutes from me driving. Mm-hmm. You were saying, "Come meet us at my house," and I was like, "Why do you want me to walk like to your house? Just come pick me up." And then my brain honestly didn't even think anything of it. I was just like, why would I walk? But whatever, like, I guess we'll do it. So we're like, me and the two other girls, I was like, they're crossing the streets with like all this toilet paper.
I could still, my mind has blocked out so much of my teenage years, but I can very vividly picture the three of you guys walking with arms full of toilet paper. And one of the girls that was with you was, for whatever reason, wearing a dress and high heels.
Of course she was. At
like 2 or 3 in the morning, going to go toilet papering. But
oh my gosh.
So yeah. So then and then I don't know why you guys all agreed to that. But
I don't know why either. I trusted you.
Because the thing was we wanted you guys to get away from the homes, so that way no one would think it was real.
Yeah.
And we didn't want any like homeowners to hear see out their windows and call the cops. That makes it sound so much worse.
POV, you're the neighbor watching these girls get fake kidnapped. Like, come on.
Oh, my nervous laugh is coming out now. Oh, God, everybody's gonna hate me now. I'm a reformed hooligan. So
he's a very nice guy now.
Yes, I am. But so we were coming up, and it was like the timing was perfect because you guys were like about halfway through that little desert spot. So I'm driving slowly up the main road, and when you guys got a little bit closer, I like booked it in super fast and then slowed down right next to you guys.
And that's when I felt uneasy. I was like, there is a car following us. Because the lights were off and you guys were driving really slow.
And we didn't stop or anything. We just went slow. And then I looped around and turned the lights back on, and we like sped up towards you guys. And you guys went to go try to hide in a bush, but it was just sticks and we could see you guys there.
And then I remember we like, when we thought we were in the clear, we like came out from the bush, and then you guys just stopped us in the middle of the road.
Well, no, see, and this, like, now I'm like rethinking this. This was so dangerous because what I did is I drove pretty quickly and I spun around as fast as I could and like made it sideways so that way the people who weren't driving could just open that sliding door and jump out.
Evil.
And then, so they all jump out, and then I, put it in a park and I jump out and I start running straight towards Valerie. And I have this mask on.
Oh my gosh. You see the two girls I'm with, sprinting. I freaking stand there like a dumbass, and I'm like, is this real? Yells at kidnapper, is this real?
Yeah.
And then I see one guy go after one of my friends, and then another guy, which, for context, one of those girls, poor thing.
I know, this makes it so much worse. I was such a horrible person back then.
She's a foreign exchange student from Korea. This was her like second or third year living in America. Like, and so
bad.
Your cousin goes after her, and then our other friend goes after the other girlfriend. She ran over to her house and is banging on the door. Somebody, the one in high heels, somebody help me.
And it was the one abandoned house.
It was abandoned on the block.
Oh, I can't breathe. What are the odds that she would just go beeline to the only house that had nobody in it? Thank God, though, because then I would have gotten in a lot of trouble.
It was like a joke, but also like, what if it was real? So then,
I'm stressed. I need to take a drink of this wine.
And then I'm just like standing there, and as you're approaching me, I'm like, this isn't real, right? Like I say it again, and you just threw me over your shoulders, stuck me in the van, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I see two girls in the front just turn around. And this was after the movie The Strangers came out, which that movie really scared me when it came out. And we were actually dating when that movie came out because I went to go watch it with my dad. And then my dad, after the divorce, was living in Big Bear.
Yeah.
He lived in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, oh my God, the neighborhood looks like the movie.
Oh yeah, I remember you were telling you called me crying because you were scared.
But so then, like, ever since that movie, like, masks just kind of like felt uneasy to me. And so I see two girls with like creepy clown masks. They just like turn around, and I'm like, who are these girls? Like, what did I do to you? And then you guys started laughing, and then you took off your masks, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I can't even remember if I laughed, if I cried, like what I did. But then
it was probably both, to be honest with you.
But then I was like, the other girl, like the girl specifically from Korea, I was like, this poor girl is just like trying to live her life in America.
She's the one who made it back to your house.
She made it back to,
and it was my cousin. What made this worse, it was my cousin who is actually from over here, who knew who she was, but they had never met. And so he pulls off his mask and starts saying her name. It's me, it's me, it's me.
She's like, I don't know
you. So it made it like there was no relief for her in that moment.
Right.
And so and then like we're sitting there because we got the other girl who went to the abandoned house is pounding on the door, and we're just kind of like laughing. I was like, we were like, wait, there. So we booked it back to your house, and she's just like screaming.
Oh my God.
But. Yeah. So.
Crazy.
Sorry.
No, honestly.
I'll pay for it. If you want to go to therapy, I'll pay for it.
I am in therapy right now.
Okay, I'll pay for it.
No, it's like actually funny. I don't even talk about that in therapy. It's actually like a really funny story to me. And thank God I like found out, after I was like thrown in the car. But I'm like, I'm glad I found out like immediately after. Otherwise it would have been like
because we knew we weren't going to like keep it going. It was just for like quick little moment.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I know.
But so it's like, it's just so funny that like that's like stuff that we did in the high desert to like have fun, which is not normal anywhere else. What?
No, I just thought about another really random story I can tell after this one. Sorry. It just
Okay,
popped in my mind.
Tell me.
Okay, so it was I was like hanging out with you at your house with another one of our old friends. One of your friends. And your sister had come back, and we were kind of like, I think that was like the first time I had met her or something. And we wanted to go toilet papering. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that was like our thing, I guess.
We, now I'm thinking, I don't know if this is appropriate. So,
what happened?
But so Joanna was driving us around.
Joanna's my sister.
Yeah. And so we went to go toilet paper this guy's house. I honestly can't even remember the guy's name, but I can picture his face. But anyways, we get there, and the guy's older brother is standing in the window, butt naked, and we ran up, doing something, and it was just like, we just went up there trying to toilet paper his house, and I remember we just all like screamed and ran away.
I vaguely remember this, but I also don't. Seriously, I don't remember a lot of like I'm sure there are like a million more stories and I'm like, I blocked it out of my memory.
Probably. I know I have a lot of blocked out memories too.
But it was crazy.
Hopefully most of them stay there. But
I know. But, well, I mostly wanted to share with our audience about how wild it was growing up in the desert. So I appreciate you sharing these stories with me.
Of course.
And like, okay, I know we both grew up in religious homes. I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween. I know you weren't.
No.
But do you like Halloween? Like, what's your vibe?
I do. I honestly, like, when it comes to Halloween, I really like it, and it's like a fun time and season, but also like I don't really have that nostalgia part of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of my friends would get a lot more excited about it than I do.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's fun, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like it,
You're like,
but there's not that
indifferent.
history.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, I mean, like, I like to go to Halloween parties and watch like scary movies and all that stuff around this time, but I do want to get like more into it. I've actually never had the experience of fully dressing up for Halloween. Yeah. I mean, I've put like little like fake blood on my face or whatever.
Wait, come to my Halloween party. I'm throwing one.
When is it? Is it on Halloween?
No, that's a Tuesday night. I can't party on a Tuesday night. It's on the 27th.
The 27th?
Come, bring your boo.
Yeah. I shall. I'll talk to him. That would
be
fun.
That'd be fun.
We can get all dressed up for the first time.
I know. I feel like I am way too into Halloween because I wasn't allowed to celebrate, but I was always allowed to watch. Like, my parents did not do a good job at like monitoring like what I watched. Like, I was just like allowed to watch whatever. Yeah. And so I love scary movies, and it takes a lot for me to be scared, but I also think it's a lot of the stories that we just shared is the reason why it like takes a lot for me to be scared now. But I feel like it's like really fun with kids. Like, I feel like I'm having a lot more fun now that I have kids because they're like really into it. And like sometimes I'll tell them like, I wasn't allowed to celebrate, so now we're doing this together.
Yeah. But, I mean, in a way though, that could be like you reliving that through them as well. Like seeing their experience with it and then you kind of like gleaning from that.
Yeah. Like one time, this is like so funny, but like one time I had like candy from school that I wanted to like, because my mom was like so intense. Like, we're not even going to buy candy. We're not going to pass it out. Like, it was so intense. And then like one year, I think I was like 8 years old. Like, someone was these kids were knocking at the door to like get candy. So I like grabbed my stash that I got from school and I was like, I'll just give them some. And then she comes running literally out of nowhere and she slams the door. She's like, we don't celebrate. No celebramos Halloween. Gosh. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go eat this in my room then. And then she threw away my candy after that.
That's sad.
But it's fine. I know, like, she meant well. But now I'm, like, Halloween crazy. I'm like, I want to do all the things. So we've been watching, like, scary movies, like, every week.
That's awesome.
Last week we watched Psycho, which is, like, an old movie from, like, this.
I'm surprised my parents let me watch that movie.
Really?
That was, like, one of the few. Like, they were pretty strict with what we watched. But looking back, there was, like, these random things that they would, like, be cool with.
That they'd be okay with.
I'm like, yeah.
I mean, that movie it's like, it's old. It's not like that, like, scary.
Yeah, it's not like all gory, too gory or anything.
As a creative, I find it very, like, cool. I'm like, ooh, those are, like, cool shots and stuff. So we watched it in the cinema, in, like, the actual theater. And I was, like, geeking out. I was like, this is so cool. But, yeah, we're going to have a party and just, like, do some fun, like, trick-or-treating stuff with the kids. I think we're going to take Hendrix to the pumpkin patch tomorrow, so.
Well, Art and I can bring our dog.
Bring your dog.
Well, his dog.
Dress
he's pretty much my dog, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put him in, like, he's a little wiener dog. I'll put him in, like, a little bun.
Oh, my gosh, wait, that's so cute. I know, but, well, I feel like that is our Halloween episode. And I feel like it was a really good Halloween. And last October, I did post more of like a scary story / paranormal experiences that like me and Justine had back when Justine was doing the podcast with me. So if you guys are into that, go check it out. This one I feel like is like, it's not as scary, but it's still kind of scary.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like
more
real
like
life,
showing how psychotic we were when we were teenagers.
Yeah, we don't condone any of these things. It was not okay. We were
please
dumb.
Don't. I'm just gonna make a quick PSA. Children, please don't kidnap your friends.
Don't kidnap your friends. Don't meet random guys outside of the club on an 18 and under night.
Don't pick up.
Go home with it. Don't pick up strangers.
Don't pick up strangers. Even if you want to have a good heart, be a good Samaritan.
I know.
In today's age, you just no.
Sometimes you just can't. So
yeah, you want to help people, but there's different ways you can do it besides picking them up from the side of the road.
Well, thank you so much. I love that you were here, and I love that we're like still friends.
Yeah, this is so fun. I know, it's kind of like a little full circle moment.
Yeah.
From asking who that crazy girl is in the playground to doing a podcast together in our 30s.
Look at us.
So fun.
We're so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I appreciate you. I love you, and thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.